Go on then, just to start this video off, there's a few pictures and clips from a local bike show. This was just for charity to raise some money for a local church's roof. So it was in the churchyard and church car park, just classic bikes over the weekend. Really glad we went along. This is a 100-year-old Triumph, by the way. And then inside the church there were some real gems. I mean, to see one Vincent is special. To see three is really special. I've never even seen a Black Knight. But then there was also a Brough Superior. I think I've seen them before, but really don't see many Broughs, do you? Right, it's time to do a bit before it warms up too much. I've got to run through this because it's Beat the Bikers next weekend. So I'll be on the 2-stroke up to Matlock Bath. And a bit more work on the GTS 300. Okay, so here's where I am at with it currently. The replacement block is in the frame, it's bolted in the frame. It's got this rear shock on this side. And now I just need to work out where all the wiring goes again. The fuel pipe, that's dead easy. The coolant hoses. Just make sure it's all neat and whatnot so the bucket isn't catching anything when that goes in. As it's a twin cable setup, I've put what I believe is the pull it open throttle cable on there. And just verify throttle open is opening the throttle blade. I just gave the throttle another pump to check that and it was rubbing on something. It's rubbing on the fuel pipe. Why on earth does the fuel pipe, it goes down, it curls around here, underneath, it comes back up, round here, and then finally into the injector. Let's just pan down a bit. So if the fuel pipe's here, why didn't they just go straight to there instead of curly whirly everywhere? I didn't quite get that. Here's the rear brake caliper. Can you see the rear piston there? So I've ordered a decent looking used one because I think this is beyond it. And yeah, look at the state of that. Now for most bikes you can get rebuild kits for brake calipers. So there's the piston, there's the brake fluid. Just in there there'll be another, maybe a dust seal, then an O-ring. These should be mirror clean. This one obviously isn't. And how on earth do you end up wearing the piston down? That's metal. The heated up metal that's then like grinded that way. So yeah, that's junk. So here's the dust seal. Got the main brake seal. So to rebuild brakes, what you'd do, you'd probably give the caliper a really good clean up to begin with, so you don't get this kind of muck in it. You'd split it in half, pull the pistons out. They should come out a lot easier than that. Pull the seals out, and then in the kit you'll get new seals. Push them back in, put them all together. Job's a good one. And then there'll be an O-ring around this bit. So the kit should come with seals for the pistons, an O-ring for there, and if you pay a bit extra, you usually get 2 new pistons as well. But like I say, I couldn't find a rebuild kit for these calipers. So this morning we had a walk down the canal, and while I was out, some goodies turned up. In fact, while I was out, let me show you this funny thing I've seen. So yeah, while I was out, some goodies turned up. Remember the state of play with them. And where's the brake caliper? This old brake caliper. And there's the pistons. Well, we've got some fresh pads. We've got a replacement caliper. I've got some pads for the front, so I'll do that at some point as well. Anyway, the replacement caliper, I thought it was going to be a used one, but the bolt looks used, but the actual caliper looks brand new. Piece of tape is hiding caliper retaining clip. Now, that wasn't in the old caliper, so I wonder if that's why they've jumped around, rotated around and scuffed the piston up or what, I don't know. Now, what's people's opinion on putting copper slip on the back of these? I always thought it was a thing, but I took a Suzuki Bandit for an MOT and the guy says everything's great, just when you've done your calipers, why have you put that on it? Because basically it ends up in the seals and destroys them, and it kind of makes sense because this is, I don't know if it's copper filings or what, but as it warms up it might end up getting in the seals and destroying them early. I don't know. So I'm going to put a tiny bit in them holes. I don't think the brake pads are handed, so they can go in either way. So they sit like that. And this retaining pin, there's a little arrow on that. Okay. Nice. Put the R-clip back in. Which way is it going to face? That way. So the bleed nipple is going to be on the top, so let's put the R-clip facing that way. So when it's on the scooter, the R-clip's facing down so it can't rattle out. That's my theory anyway. Just before we go installing it on the bike, I thought I'd give the mounting bolts a good clean up, the brake pipe, banjo bolts, good clean up, and then we're going to reuse the copper washers. Now you only need 2, but obviously I've got 4 because I've had 2 calipers. So I've just got them in some white spirit just to get any rubbish off them. Oh. Now in theory these are crush washers. This one's got just cold water in it. So to reuse them, this is a trick I saw Alan Milliard do, and if you know his name, I'm sure you'll trust him far more than you do me, because he's just sold a custom bike he built years ago, built around a Dodge Viper V10 engine, and he's just sold it for 150 grand, so I think he knows what he's doing. Them cherry red. Drop them in cold water, and then they're ready to be reused. So we want this bleed nipple on top. Yeah. Still rotating nice and freely. Next we want the brake pipe fittings. You have a copper washer that side of the banjo. You have the banjo and you have another copper washer. What's going on here? This is a bit fiddly. There we go. Nope. There we go. It's very fiddly. It's almost like the brake pipes snagged on something. It might be just how I've done it. Right, found the 14mm spanner. Snug that up, and then actually I've found some brake fluid, so we can top that up. There's loads of videos on how to bleed brakes. In the end, it wasn't taking any down this end, so in the end I had to crack open the bleed valve on the caliper, wide open, silicone tube with a syringe on it, and try and inject some brake fluid from that end just to get it flowing from here. But I think I've got plenty in the caliper now, and I'm just gradually knocking all the air out the last bit of brake pipe up to the handlebars. I don't know whether you'll see the bubbles coming out of the brake fluid or not. Do you see them? It's basically what I'm doing is applying a bit of pressure to the brake lever, then opening this bleed nipple, which is then pushing the air out of the caliper into this silicone hose. Don't forget to just keep checking the level at the top end and the master cylinder, because if it gets too low you'll be pumping air back through the system. So just working through some other bits on the scooter. This is, focus. This is the rear brake light switch. And if you remember when I was trying to fire it up to test it was working, it wouldn't fire holding the rear brake in. So I put the multimeter on just to, basically if it makes a circuit it will alarm. Do it across the vise, there's a circuit through the vise. So if we link the brake light switch, now there should be an alarm on there, because that's effectively the brake being pulled and the switch has popped out. If I just push that in, obviously no difference. So this is junk. And now just to verify that, I've got the front brake light switch off. Yep. So with your hands off the brakes, this is how the brake lever sits. It depresses the switch and there's no circuit. As soon as the brake lever's pulled, releases that micro switch, and that's what makes the circuits turn your brake light on. And obviously with scooters, you need to hold one of the brakes in for the starter to engage. So the rear one is kaput. So the brake light switch arrived. Annoyingly, it's a bit of a cheap, nasty part. So you can see it's designed for a connector. Over this bit just pulls apart. Those clips aren't clipped in. The terminals are completely bare. I'm just going to verify it works. And I'm going to modify it to suit. Right, let's try again. This connector didn't actually work straight out of the box. I've had to split it open, bend some of the prongs out, put some electrical grease in it, and finally it seems to work. It's also super awkward to test. So there, that's with the, you can't actually see what's going on, but that's with it installed on the bike. Then as soon as you press the brake lever, so what I've had to do is cut that top part of the connector off, bend the two tabs out, glue it together because I think it's just going to pop open. So now if we screw it into the bike, watch it after all this be the wrong size. Right, with a bit more fiddling I've got it to work. Next off, obviously there's bare spade end terminals, then on them they're going to be a bit too close to touching. So I'm going to have to put some heat shrink over them. And finally, wow, that's a bit warm. Who'd have thought? Side lights. Hey! Just double check the front brake. Back brake again. I was hoping that was going to be a 2-minute job, just plug and play. Obviously not.